We are live. All right. We're a little early from what we told everyone, but we'll get started. But hey, Soul Squad, thank you and welcome back to another episode of Sister Soul Sessions, where we are elevating entrepreneurs one soulful conversation at a time. I'm your host, Brittany.
And I'm your co host, B.
And tonight's guest is someone who didn't just build a brand, he is building a movement, someone who created a wellness product rooted in culture and purpose.
He's a South Philly native, a creative entrepreneur, and the founder of one of the coldest brands in the hydration game.
Yes. So everyone take a moment to welcome Jay Morris of SUPLMNT. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We are so excited to speak with you. If you could just give a little introduction about yourself, about the brand, and we will get started.
Cool. I'm happy to be here. My name is Jarius Morris. I'm founder of Supplement. We're actually the first Black-owned insulated water bottle brand. Just shaking up the insulated water bottle industry every single day that we can. You know what I mean? So,
Yes, I love it. And you being the first in that space, how does that feel? What was that journey like in getting started?
it's just kind of crazy to when you venture off into a space where you don't really see that many people that look like you. But that's actually the reason that I started the brand. When I discovered the water bottle industry back in like 2018, 2019. I had discovered some brands that were just like killing it in the game, but like nobody that I knew had any of these products. And
Mm,
it was primarily because they weren't really marketing to our demographic. It was like doing things that we wouldn't actually be seen doing, like surfing, camping,
true.
stuff that doesn't necessarily resonate with the urban community, I would say.
Yes.
So I was just like, man, it would be dope if there was a brand out that was like actually like designed and geared toward um, the culture. So I wanted to be the one to kick down that door. And don't get me wrong, it came with many challenges, but it's a rewarding thing to do to just like get into this space and to start to create things that people actually want to use, especially when you're in competition with the massive brands that's been around for
Yeah.
like freaking 100 years.
Yeah, now with everyone using those same water bottles everywhere. So we're not going to name anybody else. So, but you know what I meant.
Yeah,
But yeah, so with that competition, how do you stay, relevant? What pushes you to keep doing it?
So I mean, really, the thing is that when I started without like this whole entire journey, I actually got kind of coached a little bit by the founder of Hydroflask. I actually had met him, and then he was just pretty much, loving what I was doing because he felt like I was getting into a space that his brand particularly could not do because they don't speak the language, they don't know us, they
Right.
don't know like what resonates with culture. So I still feel that way when it comes to these other brands that exist. They're ran by like big corporations that they don't really care who buys the bottle. They don't care if you white, black, blue, green, as long as you're spending that money. And a lot of these brands just don't have that voice, that authenticity that we actually have. So
Yeah.
I still feel like regardless of other brands being able to kind of take off faster, they have bigger budgets for one. For two, this is a more of like a grassroots thing. So it's like my following and the people that rock with the brand, it's like a cult following. Like they love us.
Yeah.
They kind of watched us from when we only had 1,000 followers on Instagram. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where you kind of feel embedded in the brand, and they want us to win. But we also just create such quality product that like if you were to use our product and then use our competition, you would like see the difference on how like the quality is just there. You know what I mean? It's a high quality product, and then it's us naturally resonating with culture, and that's why you're starting to see like the Jay-Z's and like all the different
Right.
Steph
Right.
Curry and all these different people that are just naturally using a bottle without us paying them or none of that shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'm sorry if I wasn't allowed to say
No, no, I'm so excited. No, but how does that feel? I mean, you went right into it. How does that feel? You're seeing these big names and, people walking around with your brand and something that you built from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal. It's crazy because a lot of these things I'm not even seeing this stuff. It's people
Yeah.
that are tagging me in photos. They're like,
Oh, that's
"Yo, I just
amazing.
saw, this person with the bottle or whatever," and then it's like, wait, now you just Google Jay-Z in the Hamptons, you just see him walking around with my bottle all crazy.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Steph Curry or like Jadakiss and all these guys that are just like naturally picking up on a brand. It just reassures me because going through entrepreneurship, it's definitely ups and downs, like in your mental, and you have those moments where you're just like I don't know if this is gonna work. You start to doubt yourself, and then um, a lot of times something like that happens where somebody that's like has super crazy influence ends up using your product and you getting tagged in it. And it's like one of those reassuring things like, yo, all right, I'm on to something. Something is, this thing is working. So keep going. That's like the main thing that every time I see something like that, it's just a confirmation of just like, yo, like you about to turn it up out here. So,
Yeah, you're on the right path. Seriously.
yeah. 100%.
But speaking of the entrepreneurial journey, you kind of always been an entrepreneur in some form. I read a little bit about you. You flip cars, sold on Amazon, other products, sales, marketing.
Yeah.
Well, I do a little bit of research.
Got a little bit of articles out there.
Actually, a little bit. What shaped that in you, and like, how did you continue that grind in creating your own product?
Well, I would say it's just kind of like from where I'm from, and then also like just my mom. It sounds funny to say cliche, but she was a hustler with like 5 kids, and just trying to make ends meet. So she was always doing like the stuff you do around the hood, Mary Kay, and like all those different things. Like I always seen her doing those small like little joints, and I was just like, man, I don't want to do network marketing, but I would like to create a product that I would be able to sell. So I knew for a fact that school, like I went to college, I played, I did all that stuff, but I never really wanted to have a regular job. You know what I mean? So I was just like, man, I'm going to have to figure something out. So I was just figuring out different hustles to just make more money on the side. And then, the job that I had a good sales job, and I was making good money. But like I was realizing like, man, I saw like how much my sales were that year and how much I made the company versus like how much I got paid. I'm just like, I'm a top sales rep. I might as well try and figure out my own product and use the skills toward that. Now this is just way out of the blue on comparison of where I thought what I thought I was going to be doing. Like you said, I did the cars. I tried to dibble dabble in real estate a little bit, just so risky. I've had a trucking company. I was doing box trucks. Worst thing. So if you're doing that, please, somebody's trying to G you into getting into box trucking.
Not that one. Okay.
No, trust me, that was probably the most stressful business I ever created. And then alongside it, I was constantly doing the bottle thing. And then I would say that the thing that made me realize to like go to like zone in on just the bottles was I did this collab with this artist in Vegas. His name was Pretty Done, and he was just like, oh, like I think the bottles are cool. Like if you can get my artwork on it, I'll we can do a limited edition run. So I like literally had just started this. So we probably had like 800 followers on Instagram, and I did the collab with him, and people loved the bottles. They were buying them. But the cool thing that happened was he does like big murals on sides of buildings and stuff like that. And he was doing a mural for this company, and they saw the bottle, and he was like, hey, I think that's a really cool bottle with the artwork. Like, you think, could you give us the contact to whoever that is? So he gave me the contact, and he's like, yo, I got this company that I'm doing a mural for wants to talk to you, and their name's Warby Parker. And I'm just like, Warby Parker. So I don't wear glasses. Yeah. So I never heard of Warby Parker at the time.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't get excited. I was just like, eyeglass company, what the hell do they want with me?
Don't do me, yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I have the call, and they're just like, yeah, we have this, these welcome packages we're trying to do. We're revamping the brand. We want to do, some bottles. You think you could, give us some mock-ups? So they sent me over this artwork, and mind you, I'm making all this stuff up on the fly. I didn't have like a custom order, like channel or nothing. I'm just completely just making all this stuff up. So I like make a sales sheet, I knew what my pricing was from the factory. So I like put my pricing and all of that. I did it all. I sent it over to them, and then they're just like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, so we're gonna do 4,000 bottles. It was like a $60,000 order. I was like, holy shit! So I couldn't believe that this was happening. So, once I was just like, yeah, and I'll need like 60% up front or whatever. So like I get I get a direct deposit of like 28,000. I was like, oh shit! I'm like, yo, this thing is real. Like people actually value, like they like the product, and this is like turning into something real. And then I, did my thing, got the bottles to them, and they've been ordering from me for the last 4 years. Like every single year, they do like a
Wow.
$50,000, $60,000 order with me. So it's just like, it's just like even though you're not ready, I would say just freaking do it. You know what I mean? Because if I would have waited, like, oh, I don't have nothing
Yeah,
set
yeah.
up,
I don't have anything
I
set
would
up
have
for
missed
it.
out on that opportunity.
Oh.
So, but that particular moment was the moment where I was just like, yo, like I have something here. Whether I take the corporate route or whether I try and build the D2C, like direct to consumer route. So
And that was your first collaboration you had done with the
yeah,
bottles, period?
yeah, that was
Wow.
like the year after I got them designed. I finally got them in stock. That following year was just like, poop, and I was just like, okay. So I was just like, okay, this is a business here. So I got all the stuff done so I can like do a lot of custom stuff here in the States. So I do like a ton of random stuff. I got all these bottles and all this stuff. We do stuff for C4, the Yankees. Like we
Oh,
do stuff.
yes.
I've done so many cool bottles. The Air Max Day bottles. Like
Oh, now I love
we
that.
we got shows to do. Like all these companies are just reaching out to
Wow.
us because they've been using the other brands for the longest. Like
Yeah.
they've been using them for years for conferences and all that. Then they see us. They see it's like more of an urban feel. And I know you see the
Mhm.
climate. We're taking over everything. Golf. I'm talking everything. We're pretty much
Everything.
like the culture is.
NASCAR.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even BMX, like the Nigel
Yeah.
Sylvester and like
Yeah.
with the bikes and stuff. It's just like
Mhm.
it's like right now, I feel like is no better time than now to be black. I'm not gonna lie to you. So it's just like and be black and in business and actually doing something that we're typically not seen doing.
Right.
So I think it puts supplement in like a really unique place. Um, that's why I don't get that nervous or scared when I see like the other brands like having their moments. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. That's your moment for right now. And then eventually when we take over, everybody, because once we take over, the uh other cultures decide they love black culture, so they're gonna take on
And then
to
the
it too.
imitation begins.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
I'm not
So
tripping.
be the forerunner of
Exactly.
this, culture that you're creating, because like you said, it is taking off. But
Yeah.
from that first collaboration to that major order that you had,
Yeah.
where was the jump start for you at that point where you're like, no, I'm really here and I have to create, a larger business and a larger operation?
Yeah, well, it's really when I started to get asked to do like panels and stuff like that, and it's like sometimes for yourself you can kind of feel like, all right, I'm just doing this, and it doesn't really affect too many people. And then
Mhm.
you go to speak on a panel, and then like people start to hear, like you start telling your story, and you like answering questions, and then people come up to you at the end and just like so inspired by what you're doing, and
Right.
just like, yo, like man, like yo, so what, like you really got into because I would say, and it's no shot to most to like our culture, but I know when a lot of businesses that we start typically are like the same kind of business. We sell hair, we do shirts, we do, and no knock to them because there's plenty of
Yeah.
successful and stuff like that in there, but like I was just like, what could I get into that I feel like will make the biggest impact in like our culture, like changing the game, like doing something that's just super duper out of the box. So like doing water bottles, I'm talking like everybody that I know. When I told them I was trying to do this, they was just like, "Bro, water bottles, man.
Why? Yeah.
Why the
Right.
fuck would
Right.
you want to do? Why are you trying to sell water bottles?" And it was funny to me because nobody when I really got into it after it was a whole hydration thing. I wanted to push hydration. I thought getting into the insulated bottle industry would be crazy because Yeti was just doing such crazy numbers, and I started to see people like I went to Bimini. It's like an island off the coast of Bahamas, and I was in the water, and I just saw all the white people with their Yetis and their liquor, just like drinking, having a good time, and all like the black people had the resort cups and just like, and I was just like, yo, like this is a real thing. We're not
Where's our
using this.
representation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we're not using them because nobody's marketing. You go on their page, nobody's marketing to us, especially back then. Now they know they actually do know who we are. We've gotten reached out to and stuff like that. Like they know who we are. I'm pretty sure they're nervous. So I start to see a lot more, attempts to try and include black people in like their marketing and
Yeah.
stuff like that. it's just not authentic. You know what I mean? It's like, of course you're gonna do it now because you know Drewski's like doing all these like commercials and everybody thinks it's cool to just have like that token black guy. So,
Mhm.
but after seeing all of that, I just was like, yo, I got to be the one to just kind of create something different, um, that'll create like some serious impact on the outdoors world, which is everybody starting to do. We're biking, we're hiking, we
Yeah,
got run clubs. It's just like it's just all these different things that the culture is starting to get into, and I just wanted to be one of the front runners of just like doing something different. You know what I mean? In comparison.
that's amazing. So you had multiple hustles. This one stuck. Was there something in particular that made you like, how did you even really decide on the water bottles? Were you an athlete yourself? Was it something you were missing? Like what
Nah,
was happening?
it's actually I was selling items on Amazon, and it was this platform that you could sign up for that would tell you like all the top selling items on
Mm,
Amazon. So like while I was going through it, I was selling pet products at one point. I was just like doing that random shit, and then I saw this category that was doing like 40,000 units a month, and that happened to be Hydro Flask, and I but like at the time I never heard of them. Like I didn't know who they
mm,
were, and and that's when I started to ask everybody around me, like, yo, you ever heard of Hydro Flask? And like nobody I knew heard of them, ever used insulated water bottle, none of that shit. So I was just like, okay, let me because I had a good relationship with, I was doing like stuff on Alibaba already. So I reached out to this factory. I'm just like, yo, let me get like 200 insulated bottles, like a knockoff Hydro Flask. And
yeah.
I put a random logo on there, and I got the bottles in, and I gave a good amount out, and then I actually sold maybe like 50, 60 of them. And people were coming back to me like, yo, I left this thing in the car and the ice was still in there. Like, bro, like how'd you come up with this technology? And I'm just like, wow. Like they thought
I
I
love it.
invented the
Yes,
technology.
yeah.
So for me, that was confirmation that there's a massive market, a massive demographic that does not use insulated water bottles.
Hmm.
And that's what took me on my journey of like looking up and seeing why haven't we heard of it and stuff like that. And trust me, this is way before, um, this is way before Stanley. At this time, it was
Yeah.
just Hydro Flask and Yeti. They were and Swell was doing their thing at Nordstrom and shit
Hmm.
like that. So they were the three bottle companies. There were no other, the other two didn't even exist yet. So that's when I was just like, yo, like I need to get into this. And then I saw that Hydro Flask had sold in 2012 for like $212 million or some shit like that.
Mm.
So I was just like, wow, so there's real money in it. So that's why when people used to be like, bottle company, like, what are you thinking? I'm just like, y'all don't know. You don't. You just don't know. But it's cool. I'm not gonna explain it. I'm just gonna put this word in.
Right. Just follow me then. It's
Yeah, just follow. You'll
okay.
see. You'll see.
No, I love that. Well, with, you having that wonderful technology that you came up with, is there a need for like patents, things like that? Like
Yeah,
how would
of
someone go
course.
about creating?
So once people started to go crazy about like just like those, and those were knockoff, those were whack bottles, but
Yeah.
it was still insulated. But I was decided like I'm like if I'm gonna take this seriously, I'm gonna have to get an industrial designer and like actually design some bottles myself, like something that's like ours that we can own. So I got in touch with a black industrial designer through this like VC firm that I was working with because I was trying to raise some
Okay.
money, because a lot of people don't know like for tooling costs and stuff like that to like get something created is just super expensive. Like the molds, for anything you look at inside your house, like has a mold. It was a mold that somebody paid for to be able to make it on a machine 1,000 times.
Right.
So like I had to get the funds up to like do that. So I got with a VC firm. We did like a little family and friends round. I raised like 50 grand, and then through that process, I met a black industrial designer out of Chicago, and we got together and we decided like to design the bottle. So we wanted to kind of incorporate something that would resonate with the culture. And at the time, I was just super heavy on like sneakers, and just like sneaker culture, and like being fresh was like always like a huge thing in Black
Hmm.
American culture. So we wanted to incorporate that in the bottle. Cause I'm like, all right, I'm approaching a group of people that don't buy bottles.
Yeah.
They don't care about them. They don't search for them. Nobody's using them. So I'm like, how can I appeal to them? And so we got together. It was like a billion different designs that we would, and we kind of like merged them all together. So the bottom is like the replica of a Jordan 1. It's like the rubber boot to make sure, like, it doesn't slip on the table.
Yes.
The shoestring is the replica of like an actual sneaker shoestring. So you wanted to put that lanyard on there so people can, like, walk around without having to hold their joint,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I don't know if this camera can pick it up, but we put like a texture into the lid to like represent the streets. Because our main logo is the Blocks logo, which represents like the city streets that we grew up on. We like did a bunch of cool little elements, just some geeky shit, but we did a lot of cool elements to like, just like really put on for the culture. So when you're using the bottle, like, you already know, like, that grittiness, that new sneaker feel when you pull us out the box, to have like pride in what you're actually using versus what's already out there. You know what I mean? You want to, like, you can distinctly know that this is our shit. So.
Right. Now, I love that you added that into your logo, showing the blocks and everything, with you curating that type of energy, making sure that you represent where you're from. Like, what energy do you want the people that are purchasing these bottles, holding them, to feel when they have them?
I want them to feel like that first day of school. You know, when you got your clothes all laid out on the bed.
Fresh, yes.
And then you put that on and you walk out to the bus stop. Like, that's how I want you to feel when you got your supplement.
Yes.
Like, yo, like, that bottle is whack. This is the joint right here.
Yes.
Supplement. So
forget those other brands.
Exactly.
Yes. Let's go with Supplement.
Exactly.
Absolutely love it. Now, you've done this pretty much solo here, and you were talking a little bit about your venture capital that you had to gain for funding. With you doing this journey, do you feel like that's better than, getting the loans, grant writing, or did you have to kind of incorporate everything to get this started?
I would say that I would say VC firms for me was just much better. Because a lot of times, now it all depends. Because if you had parents that was just like on you about making sure your credit was good, somebody like educates you on how to manage stuff like that early on, you will probably be able to secure yourself a nice loan to get started. But I'm just not a fan of getting loans before you're having some type of income, because it just puts way too much stress on you to keep up with those payments and to, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you go ahead and take a $100,000 loan, but I hope that thing is ready, because my first 2 years, we made $0. You know what I mean? So it was just like,
first two.
Well, the first full year, it was $0 because we were, I had to come up with the product. So we were testing them, sending us ones, and then we're like, I'll change this. And like, so that took 6 months in itself, coming up with the name. I had to come up with the name like last minute, because I had a different name first. It wasn't going to be Supplement. It was a different name. But then when I had my lawyer do like a search, which, yes, get a lawyer, search the name. I had a lawyer do a search. This other big brand, Camelback, actually owned that name for like this backpack drinking thing that they own. So I didn't want to blow up, and then they would have let me blow up too, and then they would have sued me, and I would have had to pay them everything that we earned. So it's just so many little things that can like slow down the time, and then the bank's gonna be like, I don't care what's going on, you better send that. You know what I mean? Send that, pay that money. So it's just like I didn't really want to take that route. So when I spoke to the guy, the Hydro Flask guy, he was telling me that he did family and friends round, and he just like had, like, of course, affluent white America. His parents had the bread, they gave him the money to like start it. So for me, I didn't have, I couldn't. They're like, oh, do family and friends. I'm like, my family and friends ain't giving me a goddamn. So
they don't even believe I should build
we're like, water bottles. You want me to give you what for some water bottles? So that wasn't happening. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take this route. Now, don't get me wrong. I had meetings because I knew a lot of people. I had meetings with like other like affluent Black Americans that I felt like were ahead in life. They were doing their things. I had people that worked for banks that was like setting me up to like have meetings, and none of them wanted to rock with me. They were just like, I think it's a cool idea, but like this is like, let me know if you got something in real estate or more safe things people were just trying to do. And this was during like the start of COVID, so everybody was scared of money anyway. So, I got introduced to this VC firm that invests in like, new entrepreneurs and stuff like that. If they felt like the idea was good. So, I did a little thing. They selected me. I had like, they picked this random day where like they have like 4 potential no, I think it might have been like 10 potential people that might want to, had an idea that needs to raise money. And you pitch in front of like 50 investors, and it's on a Zoom. So they're like, yeah, well, can you do it this Friday? It was like Wednesday. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll jump on. So I had a deck. I had my guy created me like a whole pitch deck, and
Yeah.
just like, people aren't drinking water, and like the black dollar represents X amount of dollars, and none of these people are using insulated water. But like, I had this whole thing about like why this would be a good idea. And then mind you, I'm talking like the first black on all this stuff. And then I click onto the call, and I'm like, let me scroll and see these people, because I was like number 3 on the list. I'm like scrolling, I'm just like, the whole cast is white, and there's maybe like two Asian guys, and I'm just like, God damn. I'm like, all right, so I'm like, my whole pitch is about being a black owned brand, and I'm like pitching to this whole group of white people. I'm just like, this is gonna be crazy. But I was just like, man, just look at yourself. Don't even, because it was a Zoom. So I just like minimized everybody and just put the screen on myself.
Oh, smart.
And I went through it, and I went through the whole thing. And then, that night I had got like 6 emails from different, because that's how you do it. You pitch it, and then they put your information on the list in the email. And then if an investor liked what it was, they'll send you a message on the side. So it's like, oh yeah, I'll put 10,000, or I'll put 25, I'll put 5, I'll put 10. And then before you know it, I was at like 65 grand. And I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like this, like people think this is going to work. It was, I wanted that first round to be like somebody in the culture, but they didn't see the vision, and these people did. So I was just like, okay. And it was such a small percentage that they were getting. And, and that, I mean, that pretty much just kind of kicked the whole thing off.
Now, I know you said that you did pitch it to, more people that are in the culture, and then you went to this VC firm. How did that feel to you? And do you feel like that is kind of what the hindrance is in our culture of why we don't have black dollar stretching?
1,000%. I think, to me, that was the most frustrating thing, honestly. Just like, I don't know. I just feel like I was talking to so many people, and it was really discouraging, because even like the game that they were trying to give when you're trying to get them to invest, it was just more of like a hindrance. I felt like a lot of them didn't really want me to win in a sense when I would talk to them. And it's just straight facts, like how they were talking back, and the feedback and stuff. Like it was more so like, try something else. Like, you should probably not get into this. Like, versus like, I'm pretty sure like, people probably like more safer bets, what I mean? Like real estate, or and for some reason people are just going crazy about stocks, which I think is more risky than investing in like a product. But it's just like, it was super discouraging, to be honest. And I just was like, but I didn't let that stop me, because I'm just like, I think this is a good idea. I was just like, I'm just not talking to the right people. You know what I mean? Because I look at your portfolio, and I'm just like, I know that there are people out there that invest in like early startup businesses that aren't the typical thing. So I just was like, I'm not talking to the right people. So I just feel like fate led me to that group, and it was just a bunch of random people, but it's like one fund. So they all put up together, and then they're silent. So they don't bother you. They just, give you the money, do what you do, check in for like the first couple of years. And then, but honestly, the first, black person that actually invested in me was an NBA player. So I was just like, it's funny, like 3 years later, I finally do get that black money. You know what I mean? So it happened. It just didn't happen in the beginning.
Did it make you fearful of who you were going to market to right when that happened?
No, because it's like,
So you still knew?
I honestly, that confirmed to me. So I'm super optimistic. So I think in this type of business, or in any of these random entrepreneurs that start something like early on, you got to be dumb optimistic, because the odds are just not the odds are against you, pretty much. So like, everybody's like, water bottles, no way that's going to work. So those people saying those things, and thinking that they're discouraging me, they're really motivating me. I'm just like, he don't even see it. He don't understand that like insulated water bottles is like a massive thing. These airports are putting up all the stations for you to. It's just like, I saw the climate changing like back in 2020, 2019. I saw that like insulated water bottles eventually, like, people were doing away with plastic, and like Jersey makes like no plastic bags. We got to have these. It's like all these things people are trying to do to get rid of plastic. So I'm like, eventually, you know, in the next like 2-3 years, nobody's going to be able to even have plastic bottles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was just one of those things that I knew it was happening. I knew it was about to happen. So I wasn't really tripping about somebody not believing in me. I was just like, it is what it is. Next, let's go talk to the next
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, the wellness and, health consciousness definitely grew a lot, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
So thinking of, having something that is sustainable that you carry around, cleaner, like I said, no microplastics. We heard that a lot going around. So
Yeah.
it seems like, you definitely jumped into the right category, but definitely because you were the first, it's going to be something new for you.
You gotta kick down
But
that
do you
door.
ever like have the pressure now though to scale faster?
Yes,
Since you got through all
that's
that, you do?
the
Okay.
worst. The worst. It's the worst thing, honestly. Worst feeling. It's just like because I'm doing it so grassroots, and I'm doing it like I'm just kind of reinvesting profits, just like throwing it right back into the business.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like there's always something people are asking for. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, come out with a gallon, or come out with this, like do this, and it's like yo, like to come out with that gallon, it's like I gotta pay like 15,000 for a mold,
Yeah.
and then not including the inventory, the shipping. So it's just so much. It's so many moving parts to like this type of business that people don't really get. You know what I mean? They think they could just like, oh, come out with this color, and I'm like in the back just like cooking up some colors and shit. Like, nah, I have to order this. I have to. It's the process here. You
Yeah.
feel me? So it's just like, also just like how many people are starting to see how like people are starting to really adapt the brand, and like famous faces are using it. So and then the way I carry myself, and I carry the brand, it's like people view it as like Yeti already, when it's like,
Yeah.
yo, no, we're not. We're just starting. This is really like our second and a half real year. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Of like direct to consumer. Like I said, those first 2 years I was doing corporate, or I wasn't really dealing with like selling bottles to the people as much,
Yeah.
because I was trying to keep the lights on. I was trying to like doing all those sales corporately allowed us to be able to come out with the next size, coming out with a straw lid, coming out with the 48 ounce and a tumbler, and like all those different things, like to just like build out the line. It's just constant reinvestment, constant pouring back into the brand. And like I said, I do pretty much everything. Like I do all the cool content that you see. I'm like where they're
That's
filming that
good.
shit. All the
Okay.
all the I still do all the corporate stuff. I do. It's just like I'm like almost like a one man band. I got like two or three other people that like help me with stuff. But like primarily, and I have like a factory that ships everything, so I don't do that portion anymore. But it's just like it's that weight that you get when people are just like they want you to be a super top 500 Fortune
Yeah.
500 company, when you're just starting off. And I will say the culture is probably the grace that we give uh like companies. It's just like that say they're black owned is way more
Oh
slim than
yeah.
what they do for the other brands. It's like you'll order yourself a Stanley, it'll come in and it might not be the right color, and you won't even trip. You might not,
Mhm.
you might message them something. But like say the color like the warehouse, which you get 150 orders, the warehouse might mess up in one order. They might send the wrong color. You get the color, and you're like, see, that's why I want to order black
Yes.
on paper. Like that. Like,
Yeah.
damn, like
Right.
come on, like give us a break. I'm gonna give
Mhm.
you a refund. Reach out to us. We'll make it right. But it's like they just go so ham once you
Yeah.
put that black on in front of it. Like it's like we put so much more pressure on us than we do on those other brands, even when it comes to like pricing and stuff like that. Like my bottles are
Yeah.
made in the same factory as Yeti and Iowa and all those other companies, literally the same factories. And our quality, stuff that we did in our design is higher. You know what I mean? So like we have a top tier, quality product. But then when you'll get something from one of them other brands, and they just like, I'm telling you, it's like night and day the way that they'll
Mhm.
treat a big box store brand, like something you got from like Target, versus when you buy that from me or from like a black
Mhm.
owned brand. And it's few far in between. Don't get me wrong. I would say 95% of the customers that shop Supplement is like the truth. They love us. The way we communicate, email, the comments. It's just like super positive. You always got that 5% that's trying to teach you something that's just like, oh well, you know, you probably shouldn't say black owned because like, you know, it's just
Yeah,
all, it's
yeah,
just
that part.
constantly,
Yeah.
yo, the comments. I try my hardest to be nice to people because it's like good customer service. But like I'm telling you, some people, man, when this is over, I'm gonna send y'all some stuff
Yeah, we have to.
just so you can laugh, just so you can be like, wow, they really said that to you. Like, yes, they
You're
did.
like, it's water bottles. Either you want it or you don't. It's not even that big,
They be
but
going ham. They be going ham.
no. And that's how it is,
Part of
starting
the
it.
business.
And I hate that it's our community. We see that a lot when we see like stores or
Hmm.
restaurants. And, that's where I see it the most, where it's just like, well, this is why you can't have. I'm like, well, hold on.
Right. I'm like, when I
You
was
were,
at Applebee's,
I
that
was
food
going to
was
say,
trash. They ain't make
yeah,
a review
I
there.
hop. I can't even go back. But
Right.
you'll go every week.
Yeah.
But our own, shops and things. But I'm glad that you stick with it. You know what the mission is, and you continue to follow it. So that is the most amazing part. Sorry, sis. I know you want. I think you were turning mute.
Nah, definitely. I gotta still mute because they keep coughing. You spread germs. But I was gonna ask you. So obviously in our community, hydration is always part of the wellness conversation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So how are you using supplement to change that narrative?
Yeah. So honestly, everything that supplement stands for it's all embedded in hydration. That's literally the name of the brand. So water is the body's most important supplement. So that's literally how I came up with the name. When I saw that statement, I was just like, what can I do? Like how can I make like water the main focus of the brand? So like just subconsciously, I made it the name. So when you're drinking out of it and you're using it, you subconsciously are going to end up drinking more water. Just what it is. Everybody know that uses the bottle. When you fill it up, you're drinking it throughout the day before you know it, you're done. I don't know if it's because you can't see the water or you just makes you more thirsty. I don't know. But I get the emails and stuff that I get. People, I just drink so much more water now. The beverage it's like that first sip every time because it's insulated and it keeps it cold all day. So like while you at work, while you out there doing construction, like whatever you into, um, supplement is going to keep that beverage nice and cold. And then in our messaging, and then the times I get to go out and talk and speak with the kids and stuff like that, is all about educating the importance of drinking water because that was something that I didn't get when I was growing up. Nobody like expressed the importance of drinking water. I can't remember one time my mom told me to drink water. Like that was one of the main things for me. And it's not just her; it's anybody. Like my aunts, uncles, like anybody's house that I've ever been to. Nobody expressed the importance of drinking water. We was drinking hugs and sneaking shots of sodas and shit like that. We was just doing all type of crazy stuff. And I was just like, man, nobody explained what high fructose corn syrup is to me. Like nobody explained. It's just like those different things that I think is like important to learn at a younger age could primarily stop a lot of those things that say running your family like diabetes and heart disease and all that shit. It's really just the same things, the same practice that you're doing that you saw your parents do. So I feel like if we could start to push that at a young age, we get like all these young people just using insulated water bottles. They're gonna get hit with our messaging and our emails that are telling you and educating you on the importance of drinking water. So if I'm like 15, 16, I'm super young. I start drinking water now. I'm probably gonna be good later on. At least a better chance at being good
Right.
in comparison if I wasn't drinking water.
Definitely, and I do love that you're taking the opportunity to take a brand and to pretty much do this cultural shift in wellness within our communities. And my next question would be, so how has the community helped shape your mission for Supplement?
Um, I would say the communities help shape us. It's just because it's where I'm from, so it's just all I know. You know what I mean? So I just think I feel like it's actually a challenge. It's like it's challenging to resonate, and it's just it makes me look at like within myself and like how do I appeal to us? Like what makes like how can I get the culture to drink more water? That's really was the main question that I threw on us on the board. Like how can I get them to drink more water? How can I get them to be interested and something that I created. And I think there's a ton of cool business people out there. And I wanted to be one of them. I wanted to be one of the ones that got into the business that nobody else attempted to do yet, and to like actually win at it. So I was just gonna be relentless regardless, even if like those couple years where nobody was really, you know, buying and nobody was trying to follow, that was my guinea pig year. So I was just like, you know
Right.
what, let me try and figure out how can I resonate. So like, man, if you go way down on the page, you can see like those early on videos where I'm just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I need to feel like I'm trying to figure this out. Like she's like, how do you pose with this? Like
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you know, and I don't come from a marketing background. I don't come from all of that stuff. I came from just a strictly sales background. So when it comes to like content creation and just like, you know, product photos, getting my website, how you can make sure that like the the way that people go through your website and like that just is at the right key where people can like easily check out, easily do. It's just like all these little things that's like each month I'm just like learning more and I'm doing
Yeah.
more. And I think that that's just like it's a crazy thing because you know, it allows me to be able to teach and to help other people when I go to these panels, when I go to these schools, and I'm just like telling you now, like, all right, so these are the things that you probably should do, you know, in order to get into the product game. So I think me being from the community, I know the information that we lack. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know any of this shit. I didn't know nothing
Right.
about none of this stuff. So I think if you can like getting ahead of it and me being a guinea pig, later on I'm just gonna be probably going crazy, just like you know, ebooks, just showing people how to get into this game, how to build a brand, how to grow a page. You know what I mean? Just like in the near future, it's coming out. It's coming out soon.
Let's say a young John came up to you, you
Mhm.
just casually outside, and he says, "Hey, I want to build something too." What's the very first truth that you would tell that young guy?
Uh, it's just like it's funny because it's like, you know, when somebody comes up to me, this happens all the time where people are just like, yeah, I want to get into the product game, or I just want to create something. And and I always like to find out, um you know, like what is it, what first of all, what is the business, and then two, um I like to ask a couple questions just to see like where their passion is at, and how willing they are to be consistent when nothing's happening, like nothing's going right. Because getting in business, a lot of people want to do it, but the reason why there's only a few, you know, select people that actually win is because of one thing, and that's just consistency when
Mhm.
stuff's not going right. Because like I told you, like it took me almost 2 years to make any money. You know what I mean? So, and this is while everybody that I know in my circle is telling me that I should probably do something else. So, and then also like when you're posting and you putting that business, I mean, that information out there, and you're only getting one like or two likes, and you're just like super discouraged. You're just like,
Yeah.
like maybe this isn't going to work. You know what I mean? It's just like those are the things that separate, because you never know. Like I said, around that time, you know, I was thinking that same thing. I was selling the bottles for Pretty Done. We were doing okay, and it's just like I was literally just like, this is a hobby. This is going to be a hobby. Like
Oh, yeah.
this is probably not going to turn into what I think it is. And then you know, but I kept going. You know, I kept going, and then that's when I landed that corporate deal with Warby Parker, and that's when I was just. But it's like I was like two weeks away from quitting. You know what I mean? Like 2 weeks prior to that, I was like, this is probably gonna be a hobby.
Wow.
Like, let me just chill. And I was like, all right. But it's like I said, I was learning that back then. So now me telling a entrepreneur that's coming up, it's just like, yo, if you're not optimistic, you don't have that consistency, you don't have that drive to just do stuff regardless of if you think it's
Without anyone
working.
telling you that it's
Yeah, like
good or
that's
great.
what this
Yeah.
is. Like right
Yeah.
now, I've been working for myself for the last 3 years, and it's like nobody tells me when to wake up, when to start
Mhm.
work, how long I need to work. So if you already don't have good time management, you got to be told everything. Mom, you got to, you know, whatever you got going on. Um, you know, entrepreneurship might not be the best thing for you at this
Mhm.
moment. You know what I mean? Because it really does take that everyday consistency. And I do think that social media makes it always seem like
It's
everything's
instant.
quick,
Yeah.
like it's quick
Mhm.
money. Like I don't have to back. What do you mean? I'm gonna blow. I put one video up and I'm gonna go viral. And it's like, nah, that's really not how it works. By the time you've seen somebody go viral, they put in mad work before you saw them
Mhm.
do that. Like people think that about like Drewski and like Kyson and all
That's
these
not,
different
yeah.
guys. It's like, bro, they were
For
streaming for
years.
years. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like we're just now seeing them, yeah, but like
Yeah.
trust me, they was putting in that work. So it's like people are gonna say that about me when like we just blow it's like $100,000 like, oh man, this deal. And I'm just like, bro, y'all have no clue. Like, I've been at this for years, bro. Years.
During the 9 to 5, during the,
During, yes, while working.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never tell nobody to quit either. Like, don't quit your job. That's to me, that's your first investor. I would say keep the job, stack that money, and you work from 9 to 5 for them, and then you work for yourself from like 7 to 12. You know what I mean? You put that work in.
Yes.
But use don't because this is what I like to tell people is that when you quit your job because you think you want to go all in, and then money becomes an issue, you're going to be willing to compromise the main mission, the main like idea or goal of the brand to make money. You know what I mean? Because he's like, I need money, so like I gotta, okay, yeah, I'll do
Let's
this
to the
or
side and do this.
yeah, it'll make you make bad decisions when you need that
Yeah.
money. So I'm sorry, B, if you were saying something, you're on mute. I saw your mouth moving. I couldn't hear you.
I am obviously chiming in, but I keep muting myself because my kids
Oh,
are talking.
okay.
But
I thought you were saying something. All right, no worries.
nah, I'm good. I do have one last question for you because we're getting ready to wrap up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can say it correctly because I always fudge up every time. So if you could, don't laugh, Brittany, don't laugh.
Watch it.
If your journey was a book, actually, no, that's not it. If you could title your memoir from your life up until this point, what would be the title and why?
Man, that's a tough question.
Oh yeah,
If I
you got time. Look, we
give
got
a
time.
name for my memoir,
Of your life up until this point, what would the title be and why?
shit. Man, that's super hard. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to answer that. I have no. That's like a deep ass question. I'll have to sit here and really think. I've had a crazy life. I don't know.
You said I've had a
It'd probably
crazy
be like
life.
a sentence. It probably wouldn't even be like a I don't know. Like what would the
That's
name
fine.
be?
If this is a sentence, that's what you want to name your memoir. That's fine.
If I had a memoir, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry. I don't
No
know.
worries.
I don't know what to say.
It's not
I
talk.
really don't. That's a hard question.
It is. We asked each other that like years ago when we were thinking of this. And then so every episode we always ask because it's kind of like that stamp of where your journey has brought you to this point. And then
Right.
we just kept adding, and then that became chapters instead of the title.
Right. That's what I said. That's what I would think. It's more of chapters because my life has just been crazy. Like,
Yeah.
like when you said that, I'm like, man, like, wow, going that far back. I mean, I'm not that old. I'm only 35, but like, it's been some time. You know what I mean? Different things, like, you know, different eras in my life where I'm like, you know, I thought I was gangsta at one point. So it's like so many,
Really?
it's so many
Really?
different things. It's so many different stages. I mean, I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you had the real Fresh Prince story, okay, in West Philadelphia. Okay.
Doing too much. Just doing
Well, we're
too much.
glad that you brought yourself to this journey. But just another reflective question. You pivoted, hustled, rebranded, rebuilt. What have you learned about yourself through this process so far?
Man, that I got a lot more perseverance than what I thought. You know what I mean? Like a lot more like willpower, like the will to win, or like and having like having faith. Um, to me, it's just like a massive thing. Like that was just probably a huge thing of just having like faith. That like something that you put your mind to that you be able to you can overcome it and you can like will your way to do it. You know what I mean? Like affirmations and all that stuff, it just works. You know, and people don't think, but I definitely do believe that life and death's in the power of your tongue. So it's like to like, you know, say those things, like, you know, tell yourself that you're gonna be great, tell yourself that this is gonna work. Of course, while putting in the work. I wouldn't just say these things and don't actually put in the work. But you know what I mean? It just like me just knowing that I got the perseverance and like that I'm able to problem solve, because I think that entrepreneurship is nothing but problem solving. You started out, things start to go wrong or are not working, and you have to figure out why and how to make it work. Like, what can I do to bring in income? Like, how can I appeal? Like, all right, I put this video up, it didn't get much activity. That means, you know, how can I pivot? How can I fix this? What can I do better? So it's just being self-aware, you know what I mean? Getting help when you need it, and having that drive to like persevere is probably one of the biggest things that I learned about myself. Yeah, definitely.
And we thank you so much for that perseverance and your tenacity, creating something that no one has in our field and our culture. We want to give you your flowers because we truly appreciate you, Jay. This is an amazing product you've built, and it will continue to grow, and sending you many blessings. You want to
Awesome.
do our closeout, sis?
So first of all, thank you again for your time and your presence. How can our viewers find you? Like, what are your socials? How can they
So
get
our
their hands on the
socials,
Bible?
for sure, our socials is supplement SUPLMNT on Instagram and on TikTok. We're just now getting on TikTok. Got a lot of growing to do over there, but we lit on Instagram. We're starting to get lit on Instagram. Facebook is Supplement Brand. We're on Facebook. The website is the same thing, www.supplement.com. And you can find us on there. If you do get a bottle, you can put hydrate at checkout, 15% off. Special little joint for your viewers if you're interested in grabbing yourself a bottle. And yeah, I mean, check us out, man. Look us up. We always posting cool stuff. Everything is inclusive. If you put us in your story, we will repost you. Holla at us, man. Stay tuned.
And thank you guys so much for joining us for another amazing episode of Sister Soul Sessions. Again, thank you so much, Jay. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Thank you again. Bye.
All right.